Good morning, guys. It's time A and we're back. I wanted to do something new today, so we're gonna do a get ready with me. I have all my makeup right here. I'm all ready. I have my Attack on Titan shirt. So let's just get into it. So today I just wanted to talk about how I felt during therapy. As you know, I talked about my mom and like what happened and what led me to decide to choose to go to therapy. So I've always wanted to try therapy, but I just never took the steps to do it. I just knew like one day like I just want to do it, like I wouldn't mind. But I had a situation with a friend, like a disagreement I guess, and it was affecting me a lot more than I thought it should. So something happened and then I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna go to therapy. So it was 2021, it was during COVID, so I decided to do like BetterHelp. I think you see Elsie. Say hi, Elsie, right here. Anyway, I went online and I found a therapist. I chose a person of color because with the issues I have, I don't think I want like a white therapist telling me that I should speak to my mother because she's not gonna understand the dynamics, right? So I decided to go to therapy, and it was kind of weird at first because I felt like I was just talking shit to my therapist. Like I was like, I feel like I could figure this out myself, right? Just like conflict with a friend. And then it became less about my friend and like much more about me. And I found out that I was a lot like my mom more than I have ever anticipated. And it really sucked. I don't know how else to say it, but you spend your whole life trying not to be this person, and then you find out that you're pretty much like this person. And I'm not saying I'm not narcissistic or anything like that. It's more like I was basically projecting onto my friends and my relationship like a lot more than I thought I was. I also found out that I was doing things out of like trauma, because like a good example would be I thought that I was a really generous and nice person. And I think I am a generous and nice person, but I spent a lot of money on my friends because my mom taught me that if you did things for me, then I will give you love. So I kept doing things for my friends even though they didn't ask, because I was scared that if I stopped doing it, they would stop loving me. It was bad. It was really bad. And when I posted the video with the screenshots of like my mom calling me a bitch and stuff, that was around the time I started therapy. And I told my therapist, and she was like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I said, it's okay, like I'm so used to it by now, like I'm so desensitized to these things, like it's crazy. Like when my mom called me those things, I didn't even like bat an eye. Blend. So when I started therapy, it was tough. I withdrew myself from all my friends. I like stopped going out. It was really rough. Like I've never went through anything like that before. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so depressed. It was like summertime and I didn't even want to do anything. It was very sad. I hope the light is not too harsh, but what was I saying? Yeah, that whole summer of 2021, I didn't do anything. I just stayed at home and I was journaling and talking to my friends. So I live away from my friends, and I'm very grateful that I have a very good support system because they were very patient with me. Like the select few that were there during this hard time was very patient with me. They listened to me, they let me talk. What I needed like was on my chest. And what was I looking for? Where's my concealer? Oh. Yeah, it was I want to say what the spiritualists say, the dark night of the soul, where everything you knew ceased to exist, I guess. Yeah, the image of who I was started to get broken and shattered right before my eyes, and I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know how to handle the situation. I didn't know how to handle anything. I wanted to run away. I wanted to move and get away from all my problems. It was bad. So that whole summer, I withdrew from my friends. I didn't do anything. I cried a lot. It was a lot of tears, lots of tears. And I'm also very grateful that like my boyfriend was very supportive, and he was very patient with me getting my makeup brushes, because I can't imagine being with someone and them telling me like, I can't stand you being this sad or whatever it may be. But I went to therapy for a good 4 months. I talked about my problems, and like I was finding a lot of root issues that I didn't know existed. I didn't know how jealous I was as a person. I didn't know that I was unable to coexist. Everything. My mom made me feel like everything was a competition, right? So I didn't even know I was in a competition with my friends. Like I was competing with them, like this weird competition. Like I had to have it first. I had to be successful first. I didn't realize I was doing these things, and I am so glad that I was able to realize that I was not being a good friend, so I can correct my mistakes. I'm looking for my brush. Okay, there we go. I'm doing a very simple look. I'm not doing anything crazy. I also have hooded eyelids, so I don't have the urge to try anything crazy. But anyway, back to therapy and how I felt. So I think around the end of August, I told my therapist, I feel like I got a good grasp of this, because at some point, so when I was going through this, you go through waves, right? There are moments where you felt great. You're like, oh, I think I'm good. Like I got this, and then it feels like you went back to square one. And when those moments I went back to square one, I felt like giving up. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to navigate this. And I knew it was like generational. Like my mom was just doing to me what her mom did to her. And I had to break the cycle, but it was really hard. Because your mind just really keeps you in this vicious cycle, and it's really, 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 really hard to break out of. I'm actually surprised I was able to get myself out of that mindset. And after the first year, I was also very impatient with myself. You have to really be able to sit with these feelings, because these are emotions you have suppressed for years, like probably your whole life, if anything. And you have to let it out. You have to really sit with it. I had a problem of intellectualizing my feelings. Like, oh, I feel this way because I did this as a kid. Like I didn't let myself feel the feelings. I didn't let my body grieve. I didn't let my body do its thing. I was just trying to tell myself why I was feeling this way and move along. But you really have to sit with your feelings. And it's time for contour. I know like everyone has a different makeup routine, so please don't make fun of my order, because I like doing it this way. I like to do my brows and my lashes last, because those are the things that stresses me out the most. But anyway, yeah, it's a lot of grieving, I do want to say, because you're grieving the life that you didn't get to have, and then you get upset because you didn't realize like how badly you were being treated and how not normal these things were, until like your therapist and your friends like tell you like this shit is not okay. And it did not help that your family is gaslighting the shit out of you, saying like, she's your mother, blah 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 blah. Like seriously, nothing triggers me more than that nonsense. But yeah. So the first year, I was like, you know what, I think I'm good. But the more you rush it, the longer it takes. Because I was trying to be better as fast as possible. And at some point I felt like I kept trying to improve myself when I'm not a self-improvement project, and I forgot that I'm not like, I'm just a human being, you know, and I have these feelings that I need to let out. My lips are getting dry. Anyway, so after the first year I was doing a little better. And I kept saying I was doing better, but the more you try to prove it, it just shows that you're not doing better. And I realized that I still had a long way to go. Even till this day, I still feel like I have a long way to go. But I want to say, I feel like the worst is over. I'm much better at managing my emotions now. Okay, I don't want to overdo it because this is pigmented as fuck. Anyway, yeah. So you have to grieve, you have to be patient with yourself. I know everyone's path and journey to these things are different. So I'm obviously just speaking on my experiences and what, because I feel like I definitely healed at an exponential rate. 2 years, I want to say. It took me about 2 years. And I want to say that's pretty good. It's pretty quick for almost 30 years of trauma. But yeah, so what really helped me was I really had to sit down and look at myself, because I kept saying, I was falling into the victim mindset, like, oh, why is this all happening to me? I didn't do anything to deserve this. And I was having these situations again with certain friends, and I realized that I was just projecting and I was looking for the next thing in my friends. And when I really sat down and looked at myself, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'm the fucking problem. And when I really sat down and said that to myself, it was like something in my head like clicked. I was like, you know what, maybe I am the problem and I need to fix it. And it's really hard to sit there and be like, oh, you know, maybe I'm the issue. Like, how do I fix this? No one likes to admit that they're the problem, you know? It's always easier to blame external factors or like other people than yourself. Because who wants to blame themselves? Who wants to admit that they're wrong? But you really have to really take a hard look at your life. And if you don't like where your life is, you can't blame anyone else but yourself. I say that very loosely because of course, like, what happened to me wasn't my fault, but how I take accountability and move forward is on me. You know, I can always I can make my trauma my identity. Like, oh, I am this way because my mom did this to me. But that is like not an excuse, like genuinely. Like, having trauma doesn't give you the right to be like a shitty person to others. I know that might be subjective, but of course I'm saying, like, don't be a pushover and stuff, stand up for yourself and all that, but that doesn't give you the right to hurt your friends just because you were hurt. Hurt people really do hurt people, and that's very, very unfortunate. But I want to say therapy was definitely one of the hardest but best things I could have ever done for myself, because I feel so good now. I definitely still notice certain things I still do, and I'm working on stopping these habits, but I want to say for the most part, I feel so at peace with myself. I feel so much more secure with myself. I don't really look for external validation like I used to. I say no when I don't want to do things. And I feel like I have control of my life again. And it feels really, really good. So I definitely recommend, if you are seeking help and you don't know what to do, to go seek out therapy, because I know your friends can help you and listen to you, but they're not certified. Not like they're not certified, but they don't know the techniques therapists uses, or they only can tell you as far as their experiences go. Oh no, I don't know if I'm doing my brows wrong. But yeah, I also got kind of tired of telling my friends the same thing over and over again, and I kind of felt bad that I kept bothering them, because I know like I'm important to them, but they have their own life too, and I didn't want to just keep talking to them about the same thing and sound like a broken record. So yeah, so I decided to seek out therapy, and it really, really, really helped. I know like some of my other friends tried it, but they didn't like it. But I'm thinking maybe they just didn't find a good therapist. Okay, I was kind of worried I fucked up my brows for a second. I think we're good. Okay. Yeah, we're good. I'm really scared. I was like, oh no, my brows. Damn, my left brow always looks so good, and my right brow is so questionable sometimes. But yeah, this was a great little chit chat. I've kind of felt ashamed going to therapy because I felt like there was something wrong with me. But there is nothing wrong with wanting to seek out help. And I think it's honestly so brave of people who want to take that step to make the change, because it's genuinely not easy. It's not something, like, I'm just repeating myself, but it's really not easy to really take a hard look at your life and make the changes, especially if you've been wired to live a certain way for so long. So yeah, I'm starting to tear up. Is it just me? Does anyone else tear up when they do makeup? Okay, I'm back. Anyway, that took me way too long. So yeah, back to therapy and outgrowing people, places, and things. It's normal. It'll happen. It's kind of sad because you never want these things to change, but change is inevitable. And things don't have to change, but for me, my only fear is staying in the same place that I was the last year. So overall, that was my experience with therapy, like why I started it, how I felt. I think I'll make a separate video on what I did, because I don't want to make this too long, in detail, like how I got through the last 2 years without a scratch. I wouldn't say without a scratch, but it was a rough time. But I highly recommend anyone who is thinking about doing therapy or too afraid. It's definitely not for the weak, but I want to say for me, it was one of the most rewarding things I could have done for myself. I feel much more mature. I don't want to have children yet, but I feel definitely more ready to be a parent now that I have gotten those things out of the way, because I definitely don't want to treat my children like how my mother treated me, and I think that was one of the biggest fears of me having a kid. But yeah, I just have my lips and I'm done. Wow, I feel like my makeup flawless today. Hold on, I left my lipstick outside. 1 second. Extremely off topic, but I got the Kylie stuff. I used to be obsessed with this shit when she relaunched it, and I stopped using it and I threw all of it out because obviously the formula wasn't good anymore. But I went back to this color in particular because I really wanted a pinky nude, and I feel like this was the only shade that I ever really truly like remembered from her lip kits. I got a gloss to put it over. I think today I'm just gonna use the lip liner and the gloss because I'm gonna be eating and stuff, so I don't wanna. Oh, look. Oh, I should pull out my lips. Like dirty ass tissue. I had some like chapstick on, and I know like if you use that, it doesn't adhere to your lips as well. I want to try using concealer to. Oh, I got something on my lip. Okay. I will always be a lipstick girl. Like no matter how much makeup I have, I will never buy like this. Like if I have a foundation, I'm not gonna buy foundation until I finish my foundation, but lipstick, I will always be buying. I feel like I fucked up my Cupid's bow. I wish I had like very round lips. I love my lips, but you know. Now for the gloss. I'm very excited for this. It's actually like this, pretty much the same shade, so it'll go really well. I know a lot of people don't like the smell of their lip products, but I love the smell of like vanilla cupcake. I love it. And if you don't like it, then fuck you. I don't really give a fuck. And I say that in a loving way, you know? Life is too short to live for others. I think I'm done with my makeup. Just, no, last stuff. Gotta drown in it, right? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that chit chat. I know it might have seemed kind of slow, but I don't know how to make this topic funny. I just wanted to be honest with my experience. And oh, I forgot one more thing. I forgot to put on highlighter. How did I forget to put on highlighter? I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm just gonna put it in my brows. So I'm already oily. I don't really need too much, but yeah, I love this. Okay, maybe I'll get some Starbucks. Today's Saturday. I don't have much to do. I'm just doing a photo shoot later on in the day. Okay, much better. It was looking a little lopsided there for a second, but thank you for joining me on this Get Ready With Me. Don't know if I'll do these again because, or maybe I'll get better because I tried doing get ready with me for TikTok, and I'm like, damn, I don't know how these bitches do it, but my vanity is a mess right now. Let me show you guys. Whole mess. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for joining. I'll probably make another video after this. I might have my hair done and stuff, so thanks for joining.